Howard, an architect, and his wife Sarah, an interior designer, have spent the last 30 years creating a series of challenging homes for themselves and clients in the unlikeliest of places.
So our perfect project is something that's almost unimaginably difficult, and everybody else looks at it and just thinks, oh my God, that's just impossible.
So now, after 30 years of architectural experimentation, Howard and Sarah have hatched a plan to build an astonishing new home amongst this community of houseboats. Next door to a 1950s German torpedo boat sits a derelict World War II landing craft on a river plot that Howard and Sarah have bought for £255,000. So you're going to build a new boat in its place?
So it's not going to be a boat, it's going to be a floating family home.
Built on a floating platform, it'll be a really highly engineered steel structure.
The first challenge will be figuring out how to extract the 80-year-old landing craft from the mud. It's disintegrating, so that's likely to be a complete pain. Howard and Sarah are going to assemble this new structure in stages on the ever-shifting tidal riverbed. Inside, below decks, a large circulation space will connect to 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and an office in the stern, with a cinema room at the pointy end. A no-frills marine staircase will take you up to the main act, a magnificent vaulted steel space that encloses living, kitchen, and eating spaces, all generously lit, not least by a giant triangular roof light. Is there a budget for the construction, can I ask?
So I'm in charge of the budget, and 385 is my number.
Absolute upper limit of?
450, we start to feel uncomfortable.
What are the challenges that this project presents?
We don't want to be on the mud. The mud's incredibly difficult to work on. So we're looking at really a new way of building.
A few weeks later, Howard and Sarah have organised a motley crew of helpers to start demolishing the old landing craft. It does not help that everything coming off-site must pass over this 3.5-metre high seawall. Howard has a new toy to help with that.
So this is my crane, the Skyhook. We're going to need this for probably a year and a half, including the demolition. It's all operated by a remote control, which is very, very simple.
Most of the time.
I don't know why it's doing that. It's a mystery. On the phone, my crane man.
Howard and Sarah are almost a full year into the project by the time they and their son, Frank, start fabricating the 16 enormous polystyrene floats.
Well, we're using about 200 cubic metres of polystyrene, which, polystyrene's light, but when you get to those kind of volumes, they weigh a lot.
Once the polystyrene blocks are glued together,
OK then.
they use a heat cutter to trim the floats to the right shape.
Yes.
Finally, the floats are sealed, the bottom in a glass fibre and super strong polyurethane recipe developed by Howard,
Roll it down there.
the top with a fiberglass matting and an epoxy resin mix.
So this will give tensile strength, but also make it nice and durable so we can walk on it.
It's hard to imagine 23 tons of steel sitting on top of all this polystyrene, isn't it? The crane's limited reach means the structure can only be installed 4 floats at a time. By early afternoon, their first mission is accomplished, the 4 floats sitting perfectly level and aligned on the mud. But now they need to fit 9 steel beams on top of the floats to keep them aligned, before the tide comes in an hour. The first of the 9 beams is fitted within minutes. But there's a problem.
It's the wrong way around.
OK.
Here comes the tide. So pleased with ourselves. What do they say about pride coming before the fall and all that? It seems to be stuck.
Somehow they managed to get 4 more in, but there are a further 4 still to go.
Somehow they've gone out of whack again. They're like a piece of
And this is just the first of 4 floating sections. Well, there is absolutely a new kid on the floating block. This looks like Darth Vader's boathouse. Goodness me, does it lift the place? An elegant wedge sliced through the steel cladding. This is so radically different. marks the entrance into a surprisingly elegant hallway lined with tiger bamboo. Up Howard's home-welded aluminium staircase
Well, the staircase widens. You got good grief.
is the main act glorious, soaring living space.
Oh, goodness me. It's terrific.
With a triangular roof light from a Star Wars episode.
Walking up into a steel cathedral.
At the other pointy end is a cinema room. Tucked into the ship's cosier heart are 4 cabins, including Howard and Sarah's.
How much in the end did you spend?
We are at 465.
Doing any project is like doing 15 rounds with an old grizzled heavyweight champion, isn't it? You give it your best shot and they just smile at you with a toothless grin, and it's like, is that all you've got?
The joy of doing it is far greater than the difficulty. It's the stuff that absolutely is what we're about together.
Glues us together.
What a state it's in.
It's 30 metres long, an historic document of the Victorian model farm era, and now soon to become a home.
What on earth made you buy it?
I found this online. I had showed it to Pip. He said, absolutely not.
Because it's just got ridiculous written all over it.
So what's it going to be?
We're basically taking an old barn and we're going to make that into a beautiful modern home.
It'll all feel both agricultural and sharply modern, especially once the barn is reclad in fashionable black and a giant wall of glass inserted on the pond side. In plan, 2 accommodation wings will sit outside the main space, but the big act here will be the grain barn. 2 bedrooms will tuck under the mezzanine end, while above them the main bedroom suite will overlook the single voluminous space and the original timber trusses, complemented by white paint and a polished concrete floor. It will not be quaint.
The original budget that we set last year was about 420. And of course, prices have gone up, so every single slate matters.
They got a mortgage to buy the barn and they'll be using savings to build. But even if they scrimp, save and salvage, they're going to be short.
I'm going to come in at 700.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted to kind of, top class.
We're going to do it for half that.
As the floor is dug out for drainage, Claudio uncovers a problem with the pillars they wanted to reuse to hold the floor above. So they call in their structural engineer, David, urgently. If these can't support the mezzanine floor, an extra steel frame will be needed. That'll cost a few thousand.
That one there fell down as we were digging. That one did.
Oh, right, OK.
They're all loose anyway.
This pier has actually shifted off of its support. I think we do need to fetch that out.
Yeah.
I don't think you have much choice in it, if I'm being honest.
If it carries on like this, there'll be no barn to renovate. The scaffolding has just gone up at the hairy gable end, so Pip and Sarah can now examine it.
Oh, my word.
They had planned on saving this.
It started to collapse a little bit.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I love that little flappy bit there. That's held on by hope.
It is. Yeah.
So when you first had your surveyor's report from 2017, what did they say about this end gable?
Essentially, the wall would stay.
So is this another new unforeseen cost?
Yeah.
To prevent the hemorrhaging of cash, a week later, Pip and Sarah, with no professional help, set to dismantling that perilous wall.
Make sure you've got the weight of that end.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm clearly worried about our safety.
OK.
My main concern is that once we take this away, then the building will rack and, could fall over.
God, it's a long way down.
OK, don't look at that.
I need a break. Because it's giving me the willies.
Not the willies. What worries me is that they're gambling they can rebuild this by recycling materials, and that's not working out. As they expose more pine frame, none of it looks savable.
I would say that is structurally useless. And when you multiply this cost by the 200 or so pieces that there are, it adds up really quickly.
We're really lucky having Claudio and Remo as builders because they very much understand the importance of trying to keep as much of the original fabric of the barn as possible.
Yeah, they're crap, aren't they? Useless. Most of it isn't worth saving. If it was my barn, I would fight to put a new slate up.
$6.5 grand gets spent on 5,000 reclaimed slates, twice as many as they expected. Sarah worked hard to get them for a bargain, but was away during the laying of the roof. So what does she think?
It looks a right state.
It doesn't look a right state. It looks absolutely lovely.
We've got too much of a mismatch between the colour.
Absolutely love it. It looks lovely.
I know that you love it.
I do.
So I don't want to tell you how much I hate it, but it's really awful.
I am not disappointed. Although slick and sharp, this is no new build. There are hints of history here and there. The exterior is cool and black, and it doesn't give much away as to what lies within, which is so different.
It does look beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous.
It is a joyous, light-filled cathedral of space.
My goodness, it's really good.
The building just invites the eye to leap through the sliding doors, across the deck, and out over the pond. Instead of bedrooms, her and his studies. Above these, there's a really special experience.
Oh, this is good.
A viewing gallery for the building itself.
The shadow and the light come all the way into the building. Oh, it's a significant sized room, isn't it? Yeah.
That sense of embrace and cosy enclosure intensifies in the bathroom beyond, an inner cocoon.
How far over are you?
It's going to come in at about 540.
That's kind of a little bit over £2,000 a square metre, which, for what you've invested in cash terms, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. It required a lot of effort. The times we were here at 11 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning and working through the winters and things like that.
And now?
I think we've got a stunning house and, yeah.
I agree. 100% worth it.
In Barnet in North London sits this street of Edwardian houses, each with its own story to tell. For the past 60 years, this one, built in 1908, has belonged to Catherine and her husband John, an architect.
We moved just before Christmas in 1965. The house was in such a bad state, although you could see that it was going to be a nice place to live in. But I think I've come to the end of my time here. My knees are not what they used to be, so going upstairs is quite painful. And John isn't here now.
Since her husband died a year ago, the necessity for Catherine, who's now 82, to move has only become more urgent.
If I were to leave this street, I would feel desolate.
So where will this splendid new home be built, you may ask? Well, right next door to her existing home, where a garage and a single-storey extension currently sit.
Very briefly then, can you explain to me how the building presents itself on the street? What does it say?
Well, it's going to be a semi-detached house that mirrors the original detached Edwardian house.
It will be a complete facsimile, although it will be in modern material.
While outside it may all be reinvented Edwardian, inside, by contrast, will be bright, semi-open plan and modern, with step-free accessibility for Catherine. There'll be a sitting area next to a mid-century style kitchen. Above, there'll be an astonishing triple-height space, like a giant lantern to illuminate the kitchen. Also at the back will lie Catherine's bedroom with a stylish and adaptable shower room next door. Vitally, everything Catherine needs will sit on the ground floor.
So how much is it all going to cost then?
£607,000. I'm going to sell my house and take £100,000 out of that to put into this, and the rest was money left over from Dad's and Mum's savings.
So you're building this without a mortgage, without a self-built mortgage?
Yes, I couldn't get a mortgage. I'm too old.
There's an unpleasant risk lurking here. If the project goes over budget, Catherine will have to sell her existing house early to pay for it. The question is, of course, who's in charge?
Smash it, Dan!
The tenacious taskmaster is Tony Halloran.
Come on, boys, put your back into it.
You've got sight boots under there.
I have.
Are they not steel toe caps, are they?
They are converted steel toe caps.
They're not, they're seriously?
They are my Jimmy Choo converted steel toe caps.
You've
boots,
converted
guys.
them?
I did. You've got to bring a bit of glam. When you hear the name Tony, you're expecting a man to turn up. You know, I walk in, they go, "Are you the interior designer?" No, guys, I'm the contractor.
How many new builds have you done?
None.
None.
It's my first.
Does this present any daunting terrors to you?
My concerns are delays with materials, but I like to be ahead of the game, so I order all my materials in advance. So it's a 12-month programme. I'm hoping to be off in 10 months.
Yeah. No sooner do they dig out the old footings than pouring rain threatens to delay the new foundations.
This is slightly kind of been delayed, hasn't it, by the weather?
It has, yeah. So the rain has been really bad.
Can you make that up, do you think?
We're going to make it up. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a big scaffolding up with a massive hut that will go across the existing house. So we're going to make it completely watertight.
Projected costs are now at £700,000, £100,000 over budget. And since Catherine's retired and so unable to get a mortgage, finances are dire.
We're going to need more money.
I mean, I can't get a mortgage, and you can't get more. You can't put more on your mortgage. So I mean.
No.
But Catherine's found an unlikely ally to help with money, her builder, Tony, who's generously agreed to extend some credit until Catherine's current house sells.
I just don't want Catherine to stress, because she has said to me that she stays awake some nights stressing about stuff.
It's a remarkable contractor-client relationship.
She's arrived. It's like a long-lost sister.
You could drive past this place and not give it a second glance, and then tomorrow be stopped in your tracks. The exterior might pay homage to the Edwardians.
Goodness me.
But the interior is all of its time.
That's glorious.
The single open-plan living and kitchen area seems a journey in space and time from the dark cellular layout just next door. It was also important to design accessibility into every aspect of Catherine's home, which is why the dining room's placed right next to the kitchen, and adjacent to that, you can find Catherine's ground floor digs.
Ah, it is just the right size.
It's perfect.
An adaptable ensuite shower room is right next door.
Original budget, 607,000. How much did you spend in the end?
Between 800 and 900,000.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Do you have a clear sensation or feeling of what life might be like here?
Absolutely. I think it's a beautiful building. I'm really looking forward to spending my rest of my life here.
Catherine has brandished such determination and appetite for risk here that I suspect few in their 80s would be willing to muster. Back in 2021, Graham and Mel planned to build a family-sized house on a tiny scrap of land.
So what have you bought?
2 garages with a little curtilage of land around it.
It's a hole in the ground where we will be living.
But an unfolding basement drama.
Everything that pushes the end date back costs us money.
Meant that by 2023, the house was still unfinished.
I am hugely disappointed. I am worried and also quite annoyed that this is happening to us.
Just over 2 years after Graham and Mel had begun building, I paid them my last visit, uncertain whether they'd managed to dig themselves out of that deep hole. Outside, the house looked complete, but inside so much had been put on pause.
Goodness me! That the interior is not as advanced as the outside.
And the incomplete staircase that stopped short of the basement betrayed a lack of progress down below.
The plywood floor covering the void below.
The void.
Did we talk about the void?
We can live in this building and work on that. We have a bedroom down here. We've created a mezzanine platform on the first floor that allows one of our daughters to sleep there.
The kitchen and living room spaces were usable, but camping in a building site was hardly the outcome Graham and Mel and the kids had spent the last couple of years striving for. Nothing could progress until the basement issue was sorted out. The budget was spent, so any solution would depend on negotiations with the basement contractor going well.
At the moment, we can afford to finish our project, but not to pay for the remedial costs of the basement. It's a question mark as to how we fund that right now. We don't honestly have the answer to that.
And what is the worst case?
I mean, the worst case for us is going to be not being able to afford to fund the remediation, and the net effect of that will be we'll have to sell it.
What happens if you have to sell? Will you be heartbroken?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This was a desperate quagmire of a mess they'd found themselves in.
So, a year and a half later, I mean, their lives must have improved, surely? That house is as pretty as ever.
Those perfectly spaced cement particle boards look as heartwarmingly gorgeous as when they were first installed. Now every last detail seems complete. There's a pleasing sense of unity to the whole edifice. This house is an exquisite triumph.
Oh yes! No longer a building site, a proper home. It's beautiful. So your bedroom's just here? Yeah.
Go ahead.
With? That's an ensuite bathroom.
Yeah.
The building's deeper, of course, at that point, isn't it? Because of
The curve.
the curve. Yes, exactly. Oh, that's so generous. That's a great cheat.
Looking the other way is the connection to a perfect cocoon of a courtyard.
The other extraordinary change here is now that the cover to that basement has gone in and you put the staircase in. The striking thing about it is the size and scale of it.
It's doing a couple of things. It's bringing much needed daylighting down into the basement for the girls' room. But yeah, it's a sculptural thing, and it takes us from basement all the way up to mezzanine and connects all the floor plates together. We're really pleased with it.
The basement at the bottom of those stairs was finally fixed by adding an extra wall 200 millimetres thick all round the inside, losing them a bit of floor space, but in turn providing an attractive planting ledge. Darkness and gloom have been banished, and Indy and Isla now have their own bedrooms, each connecting to a light well at the front, a laundry room, and their shared teenager bathroom.
So how did you resolve the basement issue then? I mean, how did you get out of the hole?
The basement company we went into legal process with, the adjudication decided that the basement company would need to repair the walls in the basement.
So you did not have to pay for this?
No, we didn't pay for the repair of the basement.
Oh my word. That's a real positive, clear win.
The staircase now carries you not just to, but through multiple spaces, rising past the fully built galley kitchen.
Well, this is beautiful.
Generous enough for 4, up to a sun-dappled hidden terrace, a jewel-like outdoor space. Then upwards beyond it to a cleverly inserted mezzanine right up in the gods.
This mezzanine, what's it used for now?
It's an office space, it's a studio space.
And through here, it's a joy. It's a beautiful space.
On the footprint of just 2 standard garages, Graham and Mel have conjured an abundant, bountiful pink container in which life can flourish.
So remind me how much you thought you were going to spend on this project.
I mean, when we costed it out initially, we thought we'd be in the region of about 450.
Circumstantial changes of COVID, Brexit, and all of the price hike, and we immediately realized it's a 30% pickup.
I think about 550 is where we've landed, and I think that's been mitigated by the fact that the basement company were able to make good on their adjudication decision.
You see, that's very, I should say that's very honourable of them.
They could have folded, walked away. We would have got nothing from the process.
I mean, compared to where you were 18 months ago, that's a remarkable outcome.
Yeah.
Heaven sent.
Happy end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in 2017, I followed one of the most ambitious building projects I've ever witnessed. A project that wasn't about aesthetics.
Worried about it looking like a shed, but we've realised it is going to look like a shed. So
A very beautiful shed.
It certainly wasn't about pinpoint organisation.
But we know that we can't get a crane down our current non-existent driveway.
Because it's too narrow.
Or having a problem-free construction process. What set this project apart was its motivation.
Avery and Pascal have multiple allergies to everything from wheat, gluten, egg.
We're allergic to nuts that's in the tree, bread, peas,
dust, allergic to cats, the pollen levels in the air, certain cleaning products are a problem.
Our whole life seems to be around how you can manage the allergies and integrate them into normal everyday life.
The project's ambitions were huge.
Requirements of this house in terms of your children's health is a very high spec.
Yeah.
So how much does all that cost?
It has to come in for under £500,000.
Okay. I was going to ask you where the cash comes from.
We've got some equity from our previous sale, and then we've had to borrow money. We have a set budget. We can't go above our budget.
It's tight for a project with such unusual bespoke demands, and already there's an obvious problem. Bourne and Eleanor's newly formed driveway is too narrow for any lorry or digger to get down. Instead, they'll need to cross the neighbouring plot of land, which has direct access to a road.
So this bit of land here is not yours?
No, we're borrowing.
How long have you had access for?
Until July.
Why have you been given such a short window?
So this plot is going to be sold imminently.
Somewhat focuses the mind, doesn't it? I mean, you've got, you know, what, six months now to
yeah,
do it all.
Get everything on site.
It's not long.
No.
Bourne and Eleanor want this building to work as a haven, to provide their boys with respite from a toxin-laden world. It's harder than you might think.
Welcome to my pop-up shop of very common building materials. It may surprise you to know that all of them are really quite toxic, many of them producing things called VOCs, volatile organic compounds, chemicals that off-gas, producing a charming cloud of toxicity that we, of course, can breathe in. And these chemicals are found in glues and varnishes and sticky tapes and spray foam and paint, of course. Oh, and then there's a whole range of timber products held together with formaldehyde, you know, commonly used for pickling bodies, and the glue in carpets. Just think of that, your entire house fitted wall to wall with a layer of volatile organic compounds slowly off-gassing into your house and into your lungs. Wow.
The question, of course, is how many of these common building products have they managed to avoid?
So what have you got here, for example, looking around? You've got a glue lamp. This glue lamp beam will be glued together with...
But it's using an adhesive that's low VOC, so that's what we checked.
The insulation is mineral wool, isn't it?
It is, yep. No petrochemicals in it.
No petrochemicals in that. There's a bit of waterproof board, and that's always made with some kind of glues.
Yeah.
Because it's chipboard, isn't it?
No, that's composite wood board, which is, again, low VOC.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What we've done is the very best that we can do.
It's our duty to do what we can do within our budget.
This fortressed shed is crisp, modern,
also mature.
But its shed-like modesty has hidden depths and meanings. There is now a mature terraced garden. It's clear the inside has matured too.
Lots of greenery.
This main living area now feels lived in and luxurious. Huge windows bring the outside in from every angle.
The big change is what's happened outside. Because the gardens have matured, there's another room in that direction, there's another room in that direction. You can see they're both really lived in. They've served different purposes. That's beautiful, because suddenly the whole building is twice as big.
Yeah.
But the greatest testament to how effective this house has been lies in the health and happiness of the children that live here.
So if I went back to, when you were younger, right, and you were off to hospital every couple of weeks and waking up with asthma attacks and so on the night, what changed? What's changed since then?
The house has prevented most of that happening, and we still sometimes go to the hospital, but it's quite rare.
You all pretty active?
Yeah. Me and Avery just came back from the national cross country in Leeds.
Running?
Yeah, running cross country.
Wait, yeah, but I mean, how far?
How far? I
ran 4.2.
And I ran 2.4k.
Not going to hospital and also running cross country. That's remarkable, isn't it?
Well, I guess the house has probably helped a lot because
it's better to breathe.
Because it's helps us with my asthma, and then so that it's easy. I'm capable of doing sports.
When I first met Eleanor and Bourne, I doubt they could have ever envisaged the strong, sporty, independent children they've raised within these walls. All of this leads to one final question.
So do you absolutely believe the house has made the kids healthier?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not going to say no, we can't claim it's one thing or another. I think it's a combination of many factors have all contributed to that point.
Yeah.
We just wanted to really ensure that we give our kids the best possible chance of health.
I like that. They're lovely things.